Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture.
Well, doesn't this make a nice change?
Yeah, the tag team.
This is the news.
What are you doing, mate?
We normally cut here.
There's no cuts in this video?
Right, fair enough. Starting us off with today's first news piece, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, which came out earlier on today. WWE are considering bringing back a classic pay-per-view with a bit of a twist. Andy Murray, Queen of the Ring 2019.
Queen of the Ring.
Thoughts?
Oh, it's just a main roster Mae Young classic, is it not? I mean, it's a good idea. They've got so much good female talent that aren't really doing a lot of the time, aside from the top names, of course. Yeah, I think it's a good little showcase and a natural step.
I mean, there's two other things that go into that as well. Obviously, they've seen the success that Evolution has had this year and want to build on that. First inaugural all-women's WWE
What a show
pay-per-view.
it was.
And King of the Ring helps exactly no one in 2018. Yeah. So I think making it Queen of the Ring, the obvious joke is, oh well, it's just going to be Charlotte winning it then and just maintaining her status. But you know, you've got the Royal Rumble, you've also got the titles on Raw and SmackDown. I think winning Queen of the Ring, which possibly could lead to another title opportunity down the road, and with the Money in the Bank briefcase, just gives more opportunities to elevate the other stars, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's nice that they would give the women one of the gimmick pay-per-views, like a classic pay-per-view that we all watched growing up and stuff. I think it's a good idea. And who doesn't love a good wrestling tournament, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, both Mae Young Classics were awesome. There's loads of awesome wrestlers on the main roster. Why wouldn't they do this?
Exactly. And I think it'd be something that, fans would be longing to see. People love people bringing back old pay-per-views. Yeah. But there's not really any desire to see a King of the Ring tournament, but Queen of the Ring 2019 could be great. It's
a great shout, particularly if, like, you know, one of the WWE's bragging heels won it. Someone like Alexa Bliss. So, remember yesterday when we were talking about how she'd been cleared to wrestle again?
Yes, I reported that yesterday in the news. 100% cleared to wrestle, guaranteed.
Well, you made that up, didn't you?
What?
Because she's not. According to Shagger Dave in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, Alexa Bliss has not been cleared to return to the ring. Now, this wasn't actually made up by Adam Wilborn. It was initially reported by Mark Henry, of all people. So, according to Shagger Dave, Alexa has been cleared for light physical action. Ask Birdie Murphy what that means. But not to wrestle. She has been taking some light bumps in the Performance Center, but nothing major. She won't be wrestling anytime soon. So
yeah, Mark Henry was reported on saying on Busted Open Radio that she's fine, she's all cleared, but now this has come out. So what does that mean? Does that mean she can get hit in the ring, take bumps off the apron? What level do we?
Goodness knows. Apparently she has been taking these light bumps in the Performance Center as part of her recovery process, but she's still being monitored. I don't really know, as someone who's never wrestled, what a light bump is. Maybe a slap in the face?
Yeah, I think it might be arguably beneficial for her, because making that transition back from, you know, the Raw GM for the women's division to suddenly being back in in-ring action, you worry that WWE would just sort of hotshot straight back in there because of the issues they've been having with ratings.
That's the thing. But again, it's a concussion problem. Concussions are very, very, very difficult. They're going to be as careful as possible. She's good in the NPC role she's been slotted into in the interim. I don't think this is a major problem, provided she makes a full recovery.
And there's got lots of stuff going on with the Raw Women's division now anyway. Obviously, you've got Nia Jax against Ronda Rousey to come, and then the Royal Rumble, so there's no need to rush her back just yet.
Exactly.
Err on the side of caution. Right, moving on to our third news story of the day, and it is to do with NXT. It's been confirmed on Twitter by GM William Regal after last night's NXT. We are going to get an NXT Championship match at Takeover Phoenix between Tommaso Ciampa, Tommy Ciampa, and Aleister Black. Of course, a rematch for Aleister Black's title that he lost in July, I think, against Tommy Ciampa, after Johnny Gargano obviously got involved. On last night's NXT, they had a come together in the ring. Basically, Aleister Black told him that he was having his rematch. Johnny Gargano got involved. Tommaso Ciampa, being the snake oil salesman that he is, convinced those two they're going to be having a steel cage match on NXT in 2 weeks' time. And whether or not that will lead to possibly Johnny Gargano being added into this match at TakeOver Phoenix is yet to be seen. But regardless, Tommaso Ciampa versus Aleister Black for the NXT Championship in January will be amazing.
Yeah, one-on-one, that is an absolutely incredible match. Obviously, they'd booked a potential triple threat for one of the previous takeovers. It obviously didn't happen because Ali Black hurt his willy, I understand. Terrible injury. But no, what a match that is on paper.
Sources for that one.
What a match that is on paper.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. And obviously the cage match in 2 weeks' time, which Ciampa just sort of baited them into, is going to be absolutely stellar as well. Cannot wait for that.
Of course, if you're one of those cheeky scamps who reads the spoilers, you probably already know how it's all going down, but as someone who doesn't read the spoilers, I'm really looking forward to it.
I like to keep myself in the dark.
Yeah.
But let us know your thoughts on that in the comments section below.
And speaking of NXT, you're never going to believe this, Adam, but apparently WWE are interested in signing a wrestler.
Surely not.
Hey! So, they're obviously very busy hoovering up all the best talent in the world, everyone they can get hold of at the moment. The latest name to come into their crosshairs, according to Shagger Dave again in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, is New Japan Pro Wrestling's Kushida. Now, Adam Wilborn, as our resident Puroresu expert, terrible pronunciation, what do you think of Kushida?
I'm actually a huge fan of Kushida. We got to work with him in WCPW. He was, in fact, not Shane McMahon, the first ever Wrestling World Cup winner. I'm not sure you can see that in the background, but that was Kushida's. He had an amazing match in the WCPW World Cup final against Will Ospreay. He is a phenomenal talent. He's obviously doing wonderful things over in New Japan. Obviously, I'm biased. I'd love to see him in WWE, preferably in NXT, considering how they've handled literally everyone else. But it's not a surprise, is it? The amount of times we are now discussing people either going from New Japan to WWE or the other way around.
Yeah. No, I think it would be a shame. While New Japan don't always focus their junior heavyweight division as well as they do the heavyweight division, he is very much, with Hiromu Takahashi down and out, he's very much the ace of that division. He's a tremendous wrestler. He's an incredible babyface. I wonder how he'll fare in WWE. He's not the most overly charismatic performer. He doesn't really have that going for him, but he is on his day one of the absolute best wrestlers in the world. He'll be absolutely fine on NXT main roster. Well, that's Vince McMahon's world. Who knows? Either way, I'd be upset to see Kushida leave New Japan. He's got this big match against Taiji Ishimori on the 4th of January in the Tokyo Dome. That'll be tremendous.
But yeah, it does make a lot of sense that now WWE are just eyeing up literally everyone, basically.
Yeah, pretty
right,
much.
now to the
Silas
point...
Young. They tried to sign Silas Young, for goodness sake. Anyway, sorry.
Now to the point you've all been waiting for. We go to Twitter for your Q&A, your burning wrestling questions. I want to start with a question here from Mark Cameron. After the news yesterday that Raw got its lowest ever rating this week. He says, what do you think would actually help Raw's US ratings? More in-ring action, more performer input? What do you think?
Oh, man, we could talk for about 20 minutes on that. Great question. Obviously, a complete upheaval of the creative department would help, but I think at its core, I honestly think that this is a problem they cannot solve. They can make incremental improvements, they can spike it every now and then, but I think wrestling just had its day in the sun a long time ago, man. It's not a cool image. It doesn't have a cool product. And once you're out of that zeitgeist, which WWE has been for about 20 years, I don't think you can ever really get back into it.
Yeah, we discussed this a little bit yesterday, and there was points about how whenever this usually happens, Vince McMahon just sort of inserts himself in there and gets punched by whoever the biggest babyface is. I'm not sure if that, continuously happening, especially nowadays when you work as much. But what Mark said there about having more performer input in promos and stuff like that, I think it can only help, Matt, as you look at what's happened with Dean Ambrose and the feud with Seth Rollins. And I keep banging on about his episode of Chronicle, but you get to really see the real Dean Ambrose and his motivations behind everything. I think more wrestler involvement can only be beneficial for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. One of their old faithful techniques was, of course, bringing back loads of old guys. They've kind of brought everyone back now, so they can't even do that anymore, can they? But good question.
Let's move on to another question from Mark Gallagher on Twitter. He says, who else do you think will appear in the Hall of Fame 2019? Now, you did a news story on this earlier.
News story, yes, I did. The current talk is that The Rock will be the headliner. They obviously cannot pull off a bigger name than that. Personally, I think I'd love to see Big Van Vader in this year, posthumously, obviously, but
That was the name that immediately popped in my head when I saw that question. I think it's shocking that he isn't in there already.
I've got it. Office favourite, Gangrel.
Get him in. Is he not in there yet? I thought he surely would have been in there already.
Legend.
This is outrageous.
Legend.
Right, another question from Twitter, from Landon, who says, thoughts on Heath Slater actually becoming a ref? Would it be an interesting storyline? Of course, that was another layer to the Baron Corbin is a git storyline on Raw this week.
I mean, he wasn't doing anything before this, So if it gets him on TV and doing stuff, that would be great. I love Heath Slater. Like, he's a born enhancement talent. He's never going to be someone they push with 2 O's up the card. Take that, the comment section. But he's tremendous. He throws everything into everything he does. He's very effective in his role. He has never not been entertaining. I think this could be great fun.
And I think Michael Sidgwick pointed this out to me yesterday. The most successful member of 3MB on this week's Monday Night Raw.
Goodness me, yeah. Yep.
Final question. Let's go to Unearthed the Kingslayer on Twitter, who says, what is your guys' favourite all-time pay-per-view? Doesn't have to be WWE.
Oh, wow. Whoa, what a question. The default answer for me would be WrestleMania 17.
Yeah.
It's the classic pay-per-view of the era of wrestling when we were growing up. I'm going to be a sad sap and go with my first ever pay-per-view when I was a little kid up in Scotland. I was a child once, believe it or not. Royal Rumble 1992.
Classic.
Yeah, the greatest Royal Rumble of all time, and Roddy Piper shocking the Mountie with a cattle prod.
What's not to like?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd go WrestleMania 17. Either that or, is it Money in the Bank 2011? Whatever the Money in the Bank was.
John Cena Punk. Yeah.
I rewatched that recently, and not obviously that match is the one that's talked about. There's the Christian Randy Orton spitting in the face match, which
Yep.
But then the 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches are brilliant. Del Rio and Bryan, I think, winning. Well worth going back to watch.
It's a great pay-per-view.
So yeah, make sure you let us know more questions in future at WhatCulture WWE on Twitter. But now to our final segment, and finally, and over to my colleague Andy Murray for this one, because you've done it this week.
I have. So Ember Moon's husband, Matthew Palmer, Indie Wrestling, he's a pretty interesting guy.
Is he the one with the t-shirt that I'm thinking?
Yes, this is a guy who, a photo of him was unearthed on Reddit, I believe, or Twitter, a few weeks ago. Obviously, he's seeing Ember Moon. That t-shirt, what did it say, Adam Wilborn?
I don't want to get this wrong. I'm going to defer to you on this one because I'm not 100% certain. I'm not.
His t-shirt literally said, word for word, King of Black Women.
Yeah, I thought that was.
Bit problematic. Anyway, he's a pretty weird guy. They obviously had a Game of Thrones themed wedding. Respect to them. Respect to them. Now, during this week's Monday Night Raw, obviously we had the main event where Ronda Rousey and a mystery partner faced off against Nia Jax and Tamina.
What a classic that was.
Those wonderful wrestlers. So Ember Moon obviously turned out to be Ronda Rousey's partner in this match. Matthew Palmer, her husband, takes to Twitter, and I tell you what, I've printed this out so I get it exactly right. So, what do you think he tweets? Take a guess.
I think he said, "Let's go, Ember," something like that. Some motivational thing for his other half.
Well, Adam Wilborn, he tweeted, "Hope this unsafe moron does not hurt my wife again." Unsafe moron does not hurt my wife again.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Can't really.
She is an unsafe moron.
The face breaker, mate.
The thing is, the thing that really annoys me is people moan about.
You've just called Nia Jax an unsafe moron.
She is. People moan about the fact that we have a go at Nia Jax recently. They say, well, what about Sasha Banks? What about Seth Rollins? Yeah. Well, first of all, Sasha Banks, when she obviously injured Paige and that was all that terrible scenario there. That was accidental. They couldn't have possibly have planned for something like that. And Seth Rollins, for all the people who say, hang on, if you're going to have a go at Nia Jax, have a go at Seth Rollins. We did. We did at the time. Everyone did. Bret Hart literally called him out. He said, look, you've injured Finn Balor. You've pretty much ended the career of Sting. But since then, he hasn't injured anyone.
No, he's been fine.
Nia Jax, I'll give you a fact here. When Nia Jax, it was revealed, had basically cost Becky Lynch that match against Ronda Rousey at SummerSlam, the sort of Tuesday night before SmackDown the other week. I think it was Brian Alvarez first reported it that I saw.
Friend of the channel, Brian Alvarez.
Someone tweeted him with a list of all the people that Nia Jax has injured throughout her WWE tenure, and the amount of Twitter characters wasn't long enough to keep it on one tweet, even with the extended 280 characters.
Wow. I mean, that kind of says it all. Look, I don't think there's any shame whatsoever in sending Nia Jax back to developmental.
No.
She's only been doing this a couple of years. She's going to make mistakes. She's not ready for the spot that she's been put into. She's hurting people. She needs more seasoning. I don't see the problem with that. And that is us trying to explain away Mr. Ember Moon's tweet. Basically. What a great guy. I mean, he deleted it straight away, obviously. But wow, what a tweet. Sign him. Let us know your thoughts on that and all of the news stories from today in the comment section below. We've been doing this a lot, haven't we? Yeah. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And check out our new wrestling podcast by searching for WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes or Spotify. But thanks for watching. I've been Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture. And I've been Andy Murray. And we will see you soon.